Welcome to Yoga with Lynn and Leo. This is day 15 of our 19 days of yoga. Be on your mat, sit in a kneeling position. Our first pose is Adho Virasana, extending forward. If you struggle with this pose and the buttocks leave the heels, then as you can see in the video, use a bolster between the buttocks and the heels or blankets and something for your head. Go for the modified action. Take the big toes together, extend through the center of the thighs as you extend into the pose. Take your time with this pose. Extend into the arms, extend the side waist, and become aware of your breath. Breathe through your nasal passage and just watch the breath as the ribs unfold. Become aware of how the ribs expand and release. Keep that breadth and broadness as the muscle fibers start to move away from the spine. We're going to prepare for Adho Svanasana. Come from a kneeling position, tuck your toes under. Ground into your arms, into the palms as you come up into the pose. Keep the legs strong and straight. Become aware of your heels and be sure that your heels are extending back. Sometimes we can have a tendency of rolling the heels in towards one another. Be sure that there's length through the sole of the foot. To open the dorsal spine, look forward. Move the center of the shoulder blades deeply in as you come back to the pose. Move the abdomen to the spine and the thighs away from the abdomen. We're coming back for Adho Virasana. So bend your knees, take the big toes together and reach forward. If there's stiffness in the knees, the ankles or the lower back, then as we showed before, use your supports. Use a bolster big enough so that you can sit back onto it. It's really important that you create that fulcrum to extend forward. If you're in the classic position, be sure that you're pressing down with the palms of the hands. Keep the arms strong and straight. We're going to change direction now. So come up and stand up. Be in Tadasana. Ground down into the legs. Our next pose is Urdhva Hastasana. So keep strong in the legs as you take the arms halfway and then all the way up. Keep the length all the way through the body, from the base all the way through to the fingertips. Keep the front body to back body. Be aware of your breath, your inhalation and your exhalation. Be sure as you are extending the arms, you're lengthening the side waist all the way from the base to the tips of the fingers, keeping that length as you slowly release the arms back down. Stand for Tadasana. Keep the weight back into the heels. We're coming for Paschima Namaskarasana. So as you can see here in the video, this is quite challenging, taking your hands into a prayer position between the shoulder blades. If that's difficult, then take your fingers together, your palms together, and just see if you can turn a little way. Keep practicing. If that's still quite challenging, then come into the crossed arm position, as you can see here in the video. As you cross your arms, take your thumbs to the inside of the elbows. Use your upper arms as a fulcrum to ground down. As you ground down, lift through the center of the body and keep the chest lifting. Keep upright. Soft inhalation and exhalation. Practice in either way with this pose, either crossing your arms or Paschima Namaskarasana. Both ways will help you to get in touch with your upper body. Releasing out of the pose, stand in Tadasana. Ground down into the legs and lift out of the pelvis. We're coming back for Urdhva Hastasana. Keep your arms nice and straight as you extend the arms up. Keep the front body to back body. Keep the length from the base of the pose all the way through to the top chest. Keep the arms extending up, the tops of the shoulders releasing. Roll the upper arms towards your ears. And again, keep grounding into the legs. Create extension. Soft inhalation and exhalation as you release the arms down. We're coming once more for Paschima Namaskarasana. Those of you who can practice the prayer position, then do so. Otherwise, fold your arms. Press the palms together and then open the palms as if they were a book. Practice this way to get a deeper action and then place the palms together. If you're in the fold, change the fold of the arms, holding onto the elbows, and again using both ways as a fulcrum to anchor down. As you anchor with the back body, lift up with the front body. Breathe through the nasal passage, soft inhalation and exhalation. Keep the arms in this position. We're coming for Parsvottanasana. This is a forward-facing, forward bend pose. Take your back leg back, your left leg back, your right leg forward. Level your hips. Ground down into your back leg strongly as you lift up through the center of the body. Open your chest. Roll your shoulders back and down. Hinge at the hips. Come halfway only. If you find balance is challenging, then stay at this stage. If you are able to lift deeper into the legs through the center of the body, then extend the front flank towards the leg. And finally, eventually, the head touches the shin. But the front body comes first. Ground down into your back leg strongly. Keep that stability as you come up, out of the pose. You're going to join the legs again now. Step your back leg to front leg. Stand in Tadasana. And now this time, taking your right leg back so your left leg is forward. Maintaining the action on the arms. Use the arms as a fulcrum to encourage the shoulder blades to deepen. Lift from the base of the ribs. Anchor down with the legs. Lift up. Hinge forward, extending with the chest. Be sure that the hips are facing forward as you go. Extend. Halfway only. And then see, keep that grounded action into the legs. Be aware of your outer hip and see that the outer front hip pulls back strongly. So we're working to try to level that lower back region. Continue to ground strongly into the legs. Lift the abdomen to the spine. Come up halfway and then fully. And then see if you're able to bring that back leg to front leg. And finally, releasing those arms down. Stand in Tadasana. Recover. Take the weight back into the legs and lift up through the center of the body. Watch your breath. Our next pose is Setu Bandha. This is when we come down onto floor level. We start from a supine action. You have the choice of two different props. You can either use a brick or 4 foam pads, as you can see here in the video. The beauty of the foam pads is that you can take one at a time underneath the buttocks and find your height. If you're using the brick, then lift the pelvis as high as you can and place the brick at the lower part of the back. This is a great way to prepare for Sarvangasana. It opens the lower back and the pelvic region. Once you're in the pose, see if you can settle. Usually we bring the feet a little bit closer in, but if there's tightness in the back, keep the legs a little apart. You have to see that the arms are extending towards the heels. And if you're progressing in the upper body, you can hold on to the mat, pull on the mat as the fulcrum, lift slightly in the shoulders and roll the shoulder blades deeply within. Keep the chest nicely open. So you're using this pose to create a lot of awareness in the upper body. Be aware of your breath, your inhalation, your exhalation. To come out of the pose, lift the pelvis and release the back very slowly, tailbone towards the heels. If you're using the foam pads, then the beauty of that is that you can just take one pad at a time and let the lower back release and then go for another pad until finally the buttocks are releasing down to the floor. Let the abdomen completely settle before our next pose. While you're releasing the lower back and the abdomen, then I'm just going to tell you our next pose, which is going to be Sarvangasana. So when you're ready, come up. If you have your platform ready, then place it on your mat, 4 foam pads and a launch pad. Be on your platform, preparing to roll into a Halasana. Be sure your shoulders stay on your platform. Take your hands down beside you and then roll. Either take the feet to the floor or the feet onto the chair, as you can see here in the video. Lift your spine, support your spine with your hands. Walk your hands down as far as you can towards your shoulders and then come up into Sarvangasana. Ground down into the legs strongly. Continue to keep the lift through the center of the spine. Let the breath become smooth and even. You're extending through the legs to get the softness in the abdomen and the extension in the side waist. You're grounding down into the upper arms to give you that opening in your chest region. Use your hands to manipulate and move the skin towards the back of the pelvis. The back of the pelvis towards the back of the legs. The tailbone towards the inner heels. Keeping the pose steady and upright. This takes a little time. May be challenging now. Persevere. Stay up just for a few moments and come back down again if you need to. Keep that grounded action. Keep the lift as you come out of the pose. So extend through the legs, taking one leg then the other, or if you have good control, then you can take both legs together. Be in Halasana. Keep the back extending in an upward direction as you soften your knees, support your lower back, and slowly coming down out of the pose. Take your launch pad underneath your head and just be there for a few moments. Just let the body completely release and relax. The breath again, smooth and even. Let the abdomen completely soften. Let the abdomen completely release. We're coming for our next pose now, which is going to be a supine action, a Sukhasana action on the platform. When you're ready, either roll to your right side or move yourself back. As you can see here in the video, Lynn has her legs on the platform and Leo is taking her legs onto the bolster. Either support can be used. Be in your cross-leg position. Just settle in the pose. Let the lower abdomen completely release and soften. Become aware of your breath, your inhalation and your exhalation. Soften around the facial features, soften the throat, and let the body become weighted. Be aware of your arms and the outward rotation, taking the palms up towards the ceiling, letting the fingers completely coil, the thumb releasing and coiling towards them. Let the throat soften. Take your awareness into your chest cavity. Follow your breath. Watch the breath as you breathe through the nostrils and into the chest. Soft inhale, soft exhale. Change the cross of the legs. Resettle the body. Settle the abdomen. And again, let the body become weighted. Let the whole of the abdominal area completely release. And then come back to your breath. Watch the breath as you take the breath through the nostrils. And keep that broadness and opening in your chest. A soft inhale and a soft exhale. Each breath, the abdomen softening and deepening towards the spine. Let the facial features quieten. Let the whole body come into a deep relaxation. If you'd like to stay in this position, then do so. We're coming out of this pose now, finishing the sequencing. So bring those legs together if you're following the video. Roll to your right side. Come up into a seated position. Thank you for joining us for this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you again. Namaste.